Fishy, fishy, fishy! What's going on, fishy friends? Alright, we're outside in the backyard right now. Got a couple of new tanks I'm going to be adding to the fish room, and I've been prepping them and realized it was probably a good time to start shooting a video. What I've done here is masked off these two different tanks. This is a 38 gallon and a 29 gallon here. I've masked off all the trim, and what I did so far was paint the bottom with a brown textured paint that kind of looks like sand. Sort of looks like concrete right there because of the reflection. So that came out pretty good. Now I'm going to paint the rest of the tank blue, everything except for the front panel that I got papered off there, and the back and the two sides I'm going to paint the blue. So I'll keep shooting as I continue working along on this stuff today. Alright guys, so here we are later that same day, and got a lot less done than I planned, but got a lot done at the same time. Here's a new rack where the 29 used to be with the proven pair. I temporarily moved them over here, and what I did was got this new rack here so I can put two 29 gallon tanks, one up top, one down low. That's about that. I had every intention of trying to film throughout the day as I was building this thing, but just kind of ran out of time. I was a little too preoccupied just taking care of everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and set up some of the tanks down here and keep checking in. Okay, so here's the first tank on the stand. Tried something a little bit different this time. I used a textured paint on the bottom, which kind of gives a sand effect. This is a bare bottom tank. I'm going to use this as one of my grow outs for some more discus. Boy, there's a lot of glare on this thing. And the two sides and the back have been painted blue. I'm not going to change anything on that 29 gallon right now as far as painting goes. That one's just going to stay the way it is, with the sides and the bottom painted blue. And I'll just leave that adhesive background on the back. I don't even know what the hell that is, ruins or something. And that's probably all I'll do for this tank. I got a light in the basement and the ceiling right here that's pretty close to it, so I think that'll do all the duty as far as lighting the tank goes. Well, I can't even focus because of all the glare on this thing. But anyway, there's the first tank on this new rack. And I will get the other tank down below later on, and if I'm still awake, Alright guys, so we're back the next day. Both tanks over here on this new rack are filled. I got some new inhabitants up here. We'll save that for another video. Down here, besides a lot of glare, is my pair. They're hiding right now. Hopefully they're getting ready to do something. And I ran out of time yesterday and never got anything done over here, so that'll be potentially what I try taking care of next. Other than that, everything's looking good. Alright guys, so we're back a couple of days later. Got the racks finished up over here. And like I said, I got another rack over here. This was where I pulled that closet out of the fish room. Where I had that wonderful seating area set up. I decided, who needs chairs, right? Always room for a few more tanks. So what we got down here is, I'm drawing a blank here. This is a 38 gallon tank, and up top here is going to be the 30 that those discus are in. I'm going to move them up off the ground over to here to eye level, where it's a little easier for me to see. This is a tank I picked up from somebody recently. 38 gallon, I believe, is what it works out to be. It's honestly a size I've never even heard of. I picked up this and the 29 gallon tank that is over here on my new rack, and we'll talk about those new inhabitants one of these days pretty soon. But that's all the work I've been doing in the fish room. This was that other tank that I showed earlier on that I was painting with that textured paint on the bottom there that kind of looks like sand. This tank is still empty, by the way. There is no water in it. There's a glare popping from some of the other stuff. But the sides and the back are blue. The bottom is that textured sand paint, which I really do like the look of. It's kind of cool in a bare bottom tank like this. I think that looks infinitely better than that, which is the way I used to deal with some bare bottom tanks. Changes over here in this discus tank. I'm starting to remove some of the potted plants after I lost those couple of fish. The only thing that springs to mind that could possibly be wrong with this tank is that it's not completely bare bottom, because I have these potted plants in there. So I'm going to remove all that. I figure all the experts who raise discus that don't do something like potted plants must know something I don't, and there's probably a reason why I seem to be the only person trying to use potted plants in these discus grow tanks. Plants aren't doing very well anyway. The light up here is now broken now that I moved it. Not suited to really grow plants. It's just some basic fluorescent hood fixture that came with a 55-gallon tank. Nothing special. So those are the updates in the fish room. I feel like even with the addition of these two, well, one right now, will be a second one up there. Even with the addition there, I still got more room to walk and work in between these tanks than I did before. Again, that line on the floor is where the closet used to be. That matched up with that wall. So I had that, 14, 18, yeah, probably closer to 24 inches between the wall and the tank. And now I've got about 36 inches between those tanks over there and these new tanks over here. The stand is nothing crazy. I sort of design these things as I go. I decided to cleat against the wall and actually support the stand that way instead of running a leg over here, and that allowed me a little extra room. I couldn't come too far out this way because this door here still needs to be able to open. So the way I have it now, the knob actually hits the stand, so I don't have to ever worry about that door potentially coming into contact with the tank, and you still get the full opening here of this door, which is a pretty good deal. That's about it. I wish I had time and had thought of filming as I went ahead through the process of building this stand, but as I said, I sort of design as I go, and if there's ever a better lesson of measure twice, cut once, this is it. My initial plan was going to be for the platforms, let's call them, where the tanks were going to stand, to come and butt up against here. Then I decided to use this as a cleat and sit on top of it. However, then that brought these two legs in, that extra 1.5 inches, which did not allow me to fit this tank in here. So I had to disassemble half this thing, bump my platforms off of this cleat, and made them rest on this second cleat here. This is just a filler. Serves no purpose up top. Down below it does serve a purpose, because I needed to shim up on top of the filler to bring my platform to the same height all the way across to there. So that way the stand would actually, the tank would actually sit level on the stand. If anybody's got any questions on the stand, I can try to describe it. Like I said, I just didn't have any time to film as I go along, and I didn't have a good plan in my head, so I didn't know what to expect when all was said and done. One of the biggest things to keep in mind when building these kind of stands is you'd like your weight to travel through onto a leg. You don't want your weight to be supported by the screws. Well, certain screws and bolts certainly are created with a strong enough torsion strength to accommodate the weight of a fish tank. Nothing beats a physical support. So if you follow this from the top down, the weight of the aquarium is going to go down through the platform, down through the leg, through the next platform, down through the leg, and right into the floor. So I've got them doubled up there, one in the back there, and a short leg in the front for this half, and then both platforms I have cleated to the wall and made sure that, of course, I am actually hitting a stud behind the sheetrock there, so that way that piece of wood is actually serving a purpose and the whole thing's not going to come crashing down on me. Alright guys, that's it for now. See you later.